stereotypes. The problem is expecting everyone to be the same. That's when toxic masculinity and femininity come into it. Our culture, secular, religious, we fear women who know what they want and won't settle for less. The church shames women for being as aggressive as men. The church shames women for saying no, or I deserve better, when they leave an abusive spouse, or they leave a spouse who is just apathetic and doesn't care. We need to leave religions that prioritize men over women, because it does damage to women. And conservative Christians are now trying to get rid of no-fault divorce. So women are trapped, or more likely to be trapped, in terrible situations. We need to create laws in every state and on the federal level for consent. We need to nail down what consent isn't and what it is. And if somebody is not enthusiastically consenting or is willing to work on the lack to create enthusiastic consent, it's not consent. Anything but those things isn't consent. And it is a crime to do things that cause women not to say no. Men who intentionally get women drunk, these are not good men. We need to stop teaching women that they have to protect themselves. We need to start teaching men to not be the kind of person that women have to protect themselves from. We need to focus on men. If religion says men are in charge, then we need to stop blaming women. Because any religion that requires men to be in charge and then denies leadership when accountability is required isn't the kind of place I would want to raise children. Any state that focuses solely on abstinence-only education or prefers it consistently have the highest STIs. The states that are erecting the 10 Commandments, Louisiana, Mississippi, have the highest STIs. The more red your state is, the more of a health risk you are just being there. Mississippi, Louisiana, Alaska, the highest STIs. 85% of people on this planet have HPV. Luckily now, there are shots you can give children, babies, that prevents this virus, which causes a lot of female cancers and male cancers. Abstinence-only education seems, by scientific statistics, to be ineffective in decreasing HIV risk in developed countries. It does not decrease rates of sexual activity or planned pregnancy compared to comprehensive fact-based sex education. So places that the more conservative a country, state, or county is, the more likelihood of STIs. A good example of sexism in church is, this is a billboard. Say no to sex. Virgin power, virgin pride. Avoid HIV. The problem with this is 1 out of 4 children experience misconduct by people they trust. When you teach purity culture to people and something happens so out of their control that they're not deemed pure anymore, this is traumatic to people. When you have a culture that worships and idolizes purity, and a child or teenager is a victim of a crime, they won't consistently speak up because of the culture. They blame victims. Instead of not creating the environment that causes predators to thrive, they blame the victim. The American Academy of Pediatrics has recommended against the use of abstinence-only sex education because it has been found to be ineffective and because the media frequently conveys information about non-abstinence. In 2015, meta-analysis found that abstinence-focused programs had no effect on the likelihood of contracting STIs. A Cochrane systematic review suggested that abstinence-only education neither increases nor decreases HIV prevention. Evidence does not support that abstinence-only until marriage sex education prevents or encourages pregnancy. Abstinence has been shown in the past few years to increase teen pregnancy and teen birth rates. Comprehensive fact-based sexual education, on the other hand, leads to a reduction in teen pregnancy birth rates. The decline of teen pregnancy rates from 1995 to 2002 were largely due to improved conception, contraception, and the reduction in pregnancy between teenagers from 18 to 19. A 2010 report by Guttmacher Institute pointed out that pregnancy rates for teens 15 to 19 reversed their decline in 2006 near the peak of the abstinence-only campaign in the U.S. While sex education has been linked to a delay in the first time having sex, abstinence-only programs have not shown any link and does not seem to influence if or when or how young people start becoming active. Many key figures of Disney, the music era, and prominent people have joined what we call purity culture. The problem with abstinence-only education is that it focuses people's value and worth on whether or not they're sexually active. There's nothing wrong with being sexually active. I think it is legally and behaviorally unsafe to have sex under the age of 18. Why? Because in a lot of states, under 18, it is a crime to have sex even if you're a teenager. The highest pregnancy occurs under the age of 20. If you're still in high school, I think people are too young to be doing it. If I ever have kids someday, I would recommend for them to wait until they're 18, where they have a high school diploma with college opportunities. Because if you are sexually active at a young age, the ability of catching diseases, pregnancy, can alter the course of your life. I'm not saying it's a horrible thing for kids to be active under 18. I'm saying it only works if you set clear boundaries. Parents who won't let their kids date until they're 18 is creating an environment where kids can't communicate with their parents. I wouldn't forbid my kids from having sex till they're 18, but I would teach them the benefits of waiting a few years until they're out of high school with a diploma. So if pregnancy happens, they're at a better, they have more options. They typically will have a better quality of life if something were to happen. Now, religious people of all religions, specifically fundamentalist Christians, have always denied that abstinence-only education is a failure. If something doesn't improve an issue or doesn't lower a risk, it is a failure. Keeping something the status quo is a failure when it comes to STIs and pregnancy. If something doesn't lower it, you need to try something else. And there's no evidence to prove that abstinence only benefits anyone. Now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with waiting until you're married if that is something you want to do. Just don't do it because of religion. Do it because it's something you want to do. Do it because it's important to you. Maybe you have career plans, or maybe you've done it in the past and it hasn't worked well for you, so you want to set a standard so you attract the people you want to attract. That's fine. I do think it could be a mistake to wait till marriage. Let me explain. A lot of people I've met in therapy, in real life, who waited till marriage, they didn't understand compatibility. If you don't know what good feels like or what it looks like, a lot of people can wait till marriage